Freaking After Dark show. I knew I was gonna fuck it up. The Freaking After Dark show. Tonight we've got a special host, a visitor host, and that's Vance Towns, our Thursday night DJ on KGFRocks.com. And we also have Sam Spade waiting in the wings. He's patiently waiting, twiddling his thumb while Kneescab gets his head up out of his ass. But anyway, he's all set and ready to go. But listen, the Queen got COVID, man.
Yeah, she got COVID.
I hate to be the motherfucker that gave it to her. They're gonna off with his fucking head. Off with his fucking head. I can see it coming. Fucking headlines: man loses head over giving Queen COVID.
Or does the Queen give man head?
Fucking head off.
Or
it could have been anybody.
Or it could be the Queen gave man head for giving why transmitting the COVID.
No, I heard it was one of her sons or something.
One of them. She only has two. So
one of her kids. Off with his head. Off with his fucking head.
It was one of her kids.
Fucking head off. Chop chop.
One of her
sons. He had just visited her, and then she got it. He got it.
Put his ass in the towel.
He got it, and then she came down with it, and it was him. That
one of her sons is a pedophile.
That's the one. I think he might have been sitting on her knee or something, and or she was paddling him. Maybe she had the paddle,
or was she motorboating him?
Took his diaper down and
how often do you think the Queen cleans her royal vibrator?
I don't think she ever cleans it. She has a vibrator cleaner for that.
That thing's probably gotta have cobwebs.
She's like, come here, sir. Would you clean this off, please? It's like she probably has a fluffer, royal fluffer.
A royal fluffer, nice.
Your job all day is to do this to the Queen. That's your job.
And then when she's in public, she's got one of those vibrators in her that goes by remote control. You can get it going with a tip.
My wife don't trust me with that because I said I'll paralyze her right in the middle of Walmart.
Here, just walk around with this in you. Just walk around with this up in you. Do me a favor. Yeah, walk around with this up in you. Yeah,
you're the only guy I know who's got a wife that can that's not broken down there. You know?
Yeah, he's the only one that's got a wife that's not broken. I don't know. Yeah. My wife's not broken. She's just not fucking interested. That's all I can say.
Plus, I don't have to worry about that
because
she's Mexican, so she's got the Latina heat going on.
That's the same thing. Oh yeah, I had a Latino wife.
Yeah, so
it shuts down after a while.
Does it? That's okay because
oh yeah, it shuts down
after a while. They just shut it all down.
Yeah, it gets a little bit broken here and there, and then later on, it's broken entirely.
Well, the fatter I get, the less I want to fuck. It's like you're
broken. So you see how you are. You're broken.
I think that's
no, I'm not saying I don't want to be satisfied, but a hand job or something.
The less you use it, the more broken it gets. I'm here to tell you, I'm proof of that. And you just don't use it after a while. Says, fuck you, dude.
I don't have a cock with an elbow. Do you?
I kind of. No. Well, you know what? I had my DNA test.
I've got room for one,
and I've had my DNA test done, and I'm Sicilian, so I'm part African American, and I finally figured it out. It's from the waist down that I am.
Yeah. So you got an elbow.
Yeah. You got an elbow.
It's
like a horsefly.
Right. No, it's more like a baby holding an apple.
Like the spine shaggy,
something like that. Yeah,
like mini.
The spine that shagged me. Yeah. Who was that actor who did that with him?
Austin Powers. That was Mike Myers.
No. The actor that played Mike Myers' dad.
Oh, that was the Jonathan Cain, or not Jonathan Cain. That's from fucking Journey. I mean, I know his name. Michael Caine.
Michael Caine, yes, Michael Caine. He did that. Yeah. It's like a baby's arm holding an apple.
He used to call him Donnie. Hey, Donnie, come here, Donnie. Yeah. I don't know why I called him Donnie when his name was Austin, but whatever. That was one of the greatest movies ever. Fat Bastard was the greatest character ever because it made fun of fatness and it was funny. And that's back when you could do that. Now, if we make fun of fat girls, they're going to get mad. You know.
Oh yeah, I can make several
white people though.
Yeah.
Not Ralphie May.
Well, Ralphie May's fat, so he can make fun of fat people.
He can make fun of fat people.
Yeah.
He's fat. He can make fun of them. But if you're skinny and you stand up there and make fun of fat people, you're being insensitive.
See, like I can make fun of Italians.
Another movie that
Italian.
Can you name another movie that wouldn't be released today?
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles. Young Frankenstein would have never been fucking put out today.
Right,
no fucking way. History of the World Part 1 and 2. Yeah. No fucking way he was going to get away with that shit. No way.
Period. Just Mel Brooks, no career today.
Yeah, no career. That's right. That's right.
Nothing he did, you know, in other movies like Cheech and Chong movies too, because some of them were really horrible, but funny. And the thing of it is I watched a lot of these reaction videos, and this one I watched, it's this black gentleman and these two black gentlemen. They're funny as hell, but they laugh at black jokes, and it's like they're funny. They say we shouldn't be laughing at this, but it's so funny. I think some people sometimes just take it the wrong way sometimes, you know. I'm not saying we should go out and call people bad names or whatever, but a joke is a joke, and I don't think people get it. You know, it's like we become way too sensitive, like hypersensitive.
There's lots of things for us to laugh about at each other. We all should laugh at each other.
Sure. We're all
no
mentally ill. Yeah, you know?
Like Archie and George Jefferson used to do.
Sure, they hated each other but respected each other. You know, like it was a weird medium, you know. And that's because, and that's what people don't realize is like those people like Archie Bunker and that they were raised by people that were worse than them with race and whatever. You know, and they got a little better on it. And then Archie's kid was like you know, she'd be in Black Lives Matter right now. You know, I mean,
Richard Pryor and my guy from the
that guy,
Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase. Yeah.
Oh,
Chevy.
yeah, the interview.
Yeah, the interview. And he was he's saying, when I say a word, you just tell me what comes to your head. I laughed my ass off. Yeah, but that would never come out again today.
No,
you couldn't.
No, but see, some of those things, I laughed at some of those things then. And now if they're done in the way like Mel Brooks did it, he never said that word. Even in the 70s, anytime that word came out, the bell would ring or this would happen. He never said that word. So that was more in a respected manner. He implied it, but he didn't say it, you know.
Well, he goes like shit like Jungle Bunny. He goes cracker, you know, and then he goes spear chucker, dead cracker.
Another guy was Red Fox. Red Fox didn't pull any punches. He'd call you a white motherfucker anytime he wanted to. You crack a motherfucker. I mean, he was bad.
Yeah, but Red
Fox would have never made it today.
No, Sanford's son would have never made it today because they would have made some joke about it.
Yeah.
He made fun of that Hispanic dude all the time, and he made fun of white dudes all the time.
Right.
You know, and that was okay because all the white shows were making fun of them. So it's like it was equal opportunity offended. You know, it was everybody was being offensive to the other one. Is it right? I don't know. Was it funny? Yeah, it was in a way. It really was, you know. And,
yeah, it really was.
Well, Dave Chappelle, he gets pretty damn under the wire and gets away with a lot of shit. You know, he can actually say the words, you know, and get away with it, you know.
Well, like I said to you, if it's you, you can say it. It's just like
but he got controversy about his you know, the gay LGBT whatever community, and he got a little feedback from them jokes, but they were funny
but
jokes.
the person that he was talking about came out and said that he knew he meant no harm about it, you know, and it was a personal friend of his. He was making fun of that person, not any gay person in general, and people took it wrong.
Sounded like it to me.
Well, of course they did. Because it's a fucking Karen society. We live in a Karen society.
If you're gay, you got a face. You look gay. You know what I mean? You can tell when a motherfucker's gay.
It looks just like that face with the gay mustache and the gay bandana. Yeah.
It looks like he's right out of the fucking one. Yeah. What is it? What's that that band from the 70s called? That disco band? What was that name?
The Bay City Rollers?
No, the no.
Oh, the Village Idiots.
The Village Idiots. Yeah, the Village Idiots. Yes.
Did you know that guy, the singer of that band, he was on America's Most Wanted before?
Yeah, I think I did see something about that. He was crazy drug fuel bullshit.
He looked listen. If you look at Freddie Mercury, you know right off the gate that motherfucker's gay. If you look at Elton John, you know right out the gate. You wouldn't even have to know he was gay, but no, he's gay.
Not until but not really. Not until they
first came out. Though.
Yeah, nobody knew. Stop lying. You did not know.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
No. Stop. Nobody did.
Elton John first came out, you didn't know he was gay.
I'm the only one.
They all dressed gay back then. You know, look at the Bay City Rollers. They were like wearing lime green pantsuits and shit. I mean, it's the times. It was the 70s. It was
the YMCA and Flair. Who were those guys? YMCA. Well, you knew that was gay.
Well, that was directed towards the gay population. That whole band was. It just happened to hit big across the world. You know,
right.
It was so. I mean, they were so. If you go to a gay club in the 70s, that's what people were dressed. You know, the Village.
Oh, yeah. If you went to a gay club in the 70s, you were hit upon several times, especially if you're a heterosexual. If you're a heterosexual and they know it, they're going to hit on you. They're going to try their damnedest to bust that Bronco. They're going to try their best to bust that Bronco. You know. I'd rather go to a lesbian bar.
No, they're more manly than the guys.
I'd rather go to a lesbian than all lesbian bar. Because if I go to an all-lesbian bar,
Well, that's confusing too, because you think you're around a bunch of little white men still.
Yeah, well, no, not all of them are dykes. Not all of them are that way. They're not all of them play
the gay bar. You got to wonder if it's a drag or not.
Yeah, well, you got to be careful. But anyway,
I can tell from a mile away.
Right. We got Sam Spade waiting off in the wings here. We're going to bring him into our show. Sam Spade is the bassist and lead singer in this band called the Midnight Devils. And they are a rocking band out of the Midwest. And it's all glam rock, man. It's all glam rock. So give me just a second here and I'll bring Sam in and we'll have some fun here.
Yeah.
I don't want to block Ace Frehley, god damn it. Yeah, whatever.
I better ask our guest if he's ready.
Yeah, that's usually what you do. You know, I'm in the shower. Hold on, buddy.
Oops, I just dropped the soap. Hold on. I'm gonna a minute.
I love New York because I'm going to smoke a bowl live on there.
That's a good idea.
Do what now?
And smoke some weed.
Oh, I'm gonna smoke some weed.
I'm already smoking some, so you guys are way behind.
Right?
You smoking a joint there, Vance?
No, my little one hitter. Where's that? There it is. There it is. There's my camera.
Oh, that's your hitter?
That's my hitter. That's I'm lightweight now at my old age.
There's 9.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool, man. Next week is next Thursday's show is my birthday.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
Hey,
birthday.
there he is.
Oh.
Hey, Sam.
What's up, guys?
All right.
What's up, man?
How's it going?
Hey, what's up, Sam?
It's Sam Spade, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'm
here.
sporting the attire.
All right. Yeah.
How the fuck are you, Sam?
I'm doing great.
Good, good.
Incredible Sunday night.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Sunday night, not kicking back at all, right? You don't have to work or nothing, right?
No, I do. I'm heading into the club tonight.
Oh, you
Oh,
are?
wow.
Oh, yeah.
You working the late shift or?
It's always the late shift at the strip club.
Always, yeah.
Yeah, it's strip club. Yeah, nothing gets going till about 11 o'clock, does it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So what's the name of the strip club you're at?
It's called the Office Gentlemen's Club.
Oh, wow.
Ah, nice.
Fancy
Nice.
What does that mean? It's an all men?
That would be cool, but no.
Yeah.
It's like it's like what you say to your wife. You're like, honey, I was late at the office. Honey, I was hanging out at the office.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it's scantily dressed women.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
I
I was at the office late.
Exactly.
Yeah.
right. I used to go to Canada before we could go there, and there, by law, they have to strip down to everything. They can't have a piece of clothing on, man. It's some good shit. I used to DJ there too. I thought you that what you do
Can't
too?
have any.
Yeah, I'm a DJ.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to do that in the strip clubs. It was great, man.
Yeah,
It was
Best job
fun.
I've ever had.
Yeah,
Besides playing
definitely
rock
cool.
music.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's definitely an experience. If you could get a chance to do it, man. It's just good shit.
We had a packed house last night. People going crazy. All the Hell's Angels were in. It was just
Wow.
incredible Saturday night. Yeah.
That's
The Hell's
It's not a
Angels.
club. It's a
That's always a
singles club.
Yeah.
Single. It's a singles club for singles.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
To hook up. I see.
Yeah, you see. So you also you're also do some music too, right?
Yeah. I guess my real job is the singer of the band. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's real cool. So I personally, he was telling me that you were a huge fan of Kiss, and that always shows me that I'm talking to somebody that knows about music when that happens,
Yes.
and which is good because those two old guys, they don't even know who Kiss is. It's sad. And it's sad.
I know Kiss. I saw Kiss at the KC kite flying contest in 1974. So don't tell me I don't know Kiss.
That was
Kiss,
the year I was born. I couldn't see them, but
yeah. Well, see how it is. I know them longer than you have.
I wasn't
Yeah,
allowed to watch them.
but I see them. I mean, I've met them. I've been to their convention. Oh, you went to their. Oh, wait, God, you did. You went to the Kiss Expo. I forgot about
I
that.
went to the
I've been
Kiss
to a couple of
Expo.
them.
This guy,
Yeah,
he thinks I don't know nothing, man. Yeah, man. He's got all kinds of memorabilia. He just got himself
I was just
he's gonna-
showing
Oh,
this.
hell yeah.
Oh,
Gotta
that's
get
fucking
Kiss
the
awesome.
jacket.
one of the coin to the originals.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, that's
They
real
gave
cool.
it to me.
That's really sweet. We went to the expo a few years ago in Indianapolis, and I got to meet Ace Frehley, and I've been a DJ and on the radio and everything, and Ace Frehley made me like awestruck. I couldn't talk. I was just like, oh my God, I'm finally talking to this guy that, my first tattoo was because of him. I had an ace put on my arm because of him. So it was like, and I'm trying to tell him this stuff, and my brother's like, just go, dude. You're making yourself look like an asshole, and it was so cool though that you got to talk to him, you got to meet him. Of course, it wasn't free. Nothing with Kiss is free for sure. But
Actually, I got to
your
see
friend.
Ace Frehley one time at a place out here in St. Louis many years ago called the Big Kahuna. You probably remember it.
Yeah, I know the Big
And they
Kahuna.
used to have Sunday national acts come through there, and Ace Frehley got there. We got kicked out before he actually showed up before the show started because we were out in the parking lot getting high. I had long hair at the time. I just happened to be lucky enough to have hat up under my hair up under my hat. I went home. I said, I ain't missing this. This is Ace Frehley. I went home, took my hair down, changed my clothes, walked right on in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The recognize you.
Yeah,
You-
he made me just
Yeah.
want to play guitar. He made me want to do everything. I mean, it was like I started drinking because of Ace Frehley, because he used to. I mean, seriously, man, it was like he was everything to me. But you know, are you what Gene Simmons your guy, or who do you think?
Paul, it was
Stanley.
Gene Simmons, but now it's
Yeah.
Paul Stanley.
Paul
for sure.
Stanley, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Paul Stanley. Paul Stanley's voice is so underrated, but he's also the biggest asshat sometimes. I mean,
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
he does say some pretty stupid things, but hey, you know what? When you get to that level, I guess you're allowed to do some of those things.
Especially if you point lasers at him at the show.
Oh,
Oh,
I saw that video.
Oh yeah, you don't like that shit. You don't
Yeah.
like that shit.
no, well,
Oh, yeah,
how-
schmuck.
I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it either. We
Yeah.
used to throw guys out of the strip club for those laser pointers, pointing them at the girls and shit, you know, and those are a pain in the ass, but it's pretty cool.
So tell me, as far as the band is concerned, and who are the members of your band?
So my name's Sam Spade, lead singer, bass player. The guitar player is his name's Chris Heinlein. He's a veteran, war veteran. Both the guys and the other two guys are actually both Army veterans. So Chris, we call him Sniper. He's a sniper in the military, and he's kind of like the musical leader of the band. He's the Eddie Van Halen shred guy.
Great guitar player.
The guy
Great
that's
guitar
responsible, keeps us in line, and really he kind of leads the way, you know, musically for us. And then we have Jimmy Mess from Chicago, Illinois on drums, and he played in Pretty Boy Floyd, Prophets of Addiction, just the all around one of my best friends.
I actually stumbled on that video that he was in with when he was in Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah.
I was looking for that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, we thought that I was around when that happened, and he goes, you know what, dude, even if I'm in Pretty Boy Floyd for 7 months, it's so cool that I get to say that I was in a band that I had the posters of the guys hanging on my walls. You know, I was like, man, this is incredible.
Oh,
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. When I meet people that when I had my posters on their posters on my wall, I worked for a radio station. I had to interview people sometime. I'm telling you what, I got starstruck, and you know, it's like you can't help it. I mean, if I interviewed people that I wasn't into, oh, it's cool to meet you, whatever. But there were certain people, like when I met Tom Kiefer of Cinderella, another thing, I was like fanboying. I'm like, stop doing this, man, you know. But he liked it more. He was really cool about it, you know. But it's like certain people will make you go crazy. I don't know. It just makes no sense.
Because Chips and Up produced our new record, and still being around him.
Oh, that's sweet.
I still feel like I don't want to say anything stupid or do anything, you know, that's out of bounds. But it like the story is like he goes, yeah, come down and do this record, and so I drove from Omaha to Chicago to do the vocal tracks, and as I cut one track, and I hear a knock on the door, and I'm like, oh, here we go, and in walks Donnie V. Of all people, Donnie V is walking into Chip's house, and I'm just like, starstruck, completely blown away. It's like, okay, I don't even know what to say. Maybe I should just not say anything at all, you know. And then you're the weird guy quietly sitting in the corner, just watching these two rock and roll legends.
It's hard for you too, because you're not an introvert. That would be hard for you to do that.
So it's like Chip's just got these stories, these incredible stories, and I just kind of take it all in and soak it all in, and like a sponge, you know. Like, how has he been successful for this long? What is his secret? It's kind of the same with Paul Stanley. You know, you just watch and learn and pick up these pieces and just kind of let them teach you just by talking and listening.
The hard part is getting to that point, but then after that, it's all fucking gravy. Once you get to that point where you're you know, everywhere you go, you're recognized.
Right.
It's hard to get to that point. But once you get there, it's cruising, man.
And I'm a constant believer that Enough's Enough never got the respect that they deserved. They were a great band that had Beatle like writing, like Beatles is. You know, it was really good writing. They just got labeled and they were done. You know, it's like it didn't make any sense to me that those bands from the 80s that were labeled glam, that were good, didn't make it out, you know. And it's like, once grunge came out, it's like, nah, you did the hair, you're done.
Still, to this day, I don't feel like they get, like, we do tons of shows with them, and I'm like, this is one of the greatest bands, the live bands I've seen. And why aren't there more people here? Why aren't there more chicks here? This band rocks every night, solid. I have nothing bad to say about them. They just kill it every night, no matter what.
Yeah, and those people that are there are the people that've been there the whole time. You know, they're fans. They're definitely fans. But no, that's awesome that you even have anybody of that caliber. You know, it's somebody that's been there. You know, maybe they weren't the height of, you know, Paul Stanley, but not many are. You know, so to be in there for anything is pretty fucking cool to me. You know, it's
here's the little Kiss nugget nerd for you. So we got this new album coming out. Right, we went to Chicago to do it. Chip's producing it. We got signed to a record label. All this happened kind of over quarantine, and they're like, Chip's like, "Who do you want to mix and master this record?" I go, "I don't know, Chip. I have no idea." He goes, "Well, I got my guy in Chicago to do it. It's Stonecutter Studio, and this guy's name is Chris Steinmetz at Stonecutter Studio. Big, like we're talking, you know, one of the biggest cities in the U.S., one of the biggest studios. Chris Steinmetz. If you look at the Revenge record, you flip it over, his name is on there as the engineer." I'm like, you're telling me that the engineer of Revenge is going to be mixing and mastering the new Midnight Devils record? And it's like, yes, he went in there. He's got these amps, Paul, like these Marshall amps that Paul and Gene gave him on the completion of the Revenge record. I'm just like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. This is nerdy and awesome at the same time.
Which was an amazingly done album, by the way. That Revenge was an amazingly mixed album.
Will make or break your album.
Absolutely.
Sure. And so will an engineer, you know, I mean.
So will a sound man.
Yes, they all got they all got different roles that people don't realize. It's like, oh, it's so easy to make a record. You can do it in your basement now. Well, you can, but it's not going to sound nothing like going through the engineer, the mastering, you know, all of that stuff is such an important part of it. And some of the, you know, Don Landy is a guy that would make anything Ted Templeman did sound like magic, you know, and he was the engineer, and it was like, I think he did more work than Ted Templeman did, you know, and they don't get the credit, but they should, because they got an ear for music like nobody else, you know, and that's cool. That's a master, you know, it's going to sound good no matter what you do. It's going to sound good, you know.
It sounds huge, and that was the difference. So the first record we did in a basement, like the guy was, you know, he had a mixing board and we didn't know anything, and he engineered and produced it, and it sounded okay. But if you stack that first record up that we did to this new one coming out produced by Chip, you know, we really went above and beyond, and the night and day, it sounds completely different. It sounds professional. It sounds like it should.
Sam, you gave me a little taste of what you were doing, you know. It was hush. I can't say it, but is that going to be on the new album? Version? Cool. Is that the video that you guys just cut for that?
We just, so the label kind of, it's another cool story is that we went in to record this record, and we're sitting there at Chip's house. He's smoking like this joint that's this long, and he's like, all right, guys, record label wants a cover, so come back tomorrow with a cover that you want to put on this record. And I'm like, we got to figure out a fucking cover in a day that we can all play and put on this record. It's going to be there forever. And we decided on this cover, and Chip's like, I love it, bro. It's perfect. Let's go. And so that's going to be the first release, the first single to kind of tide everybody over, like as the starts and everything like that. But
and everything's still kind of hush right now. So
we haven't made any big announcements yet.
Okay, so it's still in the basket.
How many songs were in the can for that?
It's 10 songs and one cover, so 11 altogether.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good one. Wow, that's a lot of times you don't get that many nowadays.
Right.
You know?
That's definitely.
Yeah, that's really good.
It's
hard. That's hard.
When I heard that version that you did, though, that cover, I was like, you guys really nailed it on the head. I was like, when I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, that's totally you guys.
Yep.
Totally. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, covers, there's a lot of covers that I fucking love, man. There's some covers that made me go and check the original out that I'd never heard before and was like, holy fuck, this is so good. And I think covers are still an important part of music, and they should be, because it regenerates old music. It really does. You know, and it not only that, you're giving older songwriters and artists some credit and some money and some whatever. You know, it's like everybody's. Yeah, absolutely. I think covers, and one guy that used to do the greatest covers was David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth, he was a better cover guy than he was his own shit, I think. I really do, you know, and he made a living off of doing the covers, which sadly now he can't sing in the shower anymore. It's
sad,
rough.
He was the
Oh
king
man,
of Rumpman.
Well, yeah.
well, see, the problem is
Another
I'm
guy
such
that,
go ahead.
He partied too hard.
another guy that could do, another guy can do a great cover is Sammy Hagar. I think yeah, I mean, Sammy Hagar can do a cover in a heartbeat. I mean, there's several of his tunes that made it big.
Well, Sammy Hagar at 71 can sing better than most anybody that's 21. I'm fucking telling you. See, he still has his
He's still got
man.
it. He's still got the mic.
It's so crazy when people argue over who's their singer in Van Halen. It's not the same band. There is no who's better. You know, it's rock and roll, David Lee Roth, but pure music and vocal ability, 5150. I'll put that vocal ability up against any vocals.
I love the songs on that record.
Oh, he's such a humble guy too. If you ever meet Sammy Hagar, he's so genuine. He's like he does a beach bum. He really is. He's just a fucking beach bum.
My favorite cover guy was Rod
Stewart. Yeah, he did some good ones. He did. Yeah. Rod Stewart could, back in the 70s, could have sang the Yellow Pages and chicks would have bought his record.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. He just had so much sex appeal and so much everything else that it didn't fucking matter what he sang. You know, and that's what I always wanted to be. I don't give a fuck if people remember my song. I want the satisfaction right now. You know, give me the. But it never happened. So, you know, here I am, you know, doing radio instead of doing playing on the music on the stage. But whatever. We still got so when do you think that your shit's gonna drop? Anything coming, any dates?
So as that's lining up, we go out in early April with Enough's Enough. We do 3 or 4 like kind of warm-up shows. And then in early May we join the Choir Boys for
I'll be at that show.
Coast to Coast. Starts in Brooklyn, ends at the Whiskey in LA. So we want to drop the single right about the time that tour is about to start. So I'm thinking mid-April the single's going to drop, and then the album will follow with the second single. We'll do the tour with the Choir Boys, which we started before the pandemic, and in the middle of that tour, the coronavirus shut the entire world down, and we were just mortified. We lost it. We landed the tour of our dreams, and we lost it. Now 2 years later, full circle, we're going to finish the tour. And then in June, we go out with Enough's Enough and Pretty Boy Floyd for like a little summer run. So it's kind of setting up that we'll drop this album and then do these 2 or 3 tours.
Now, are you guys? I looked at the schedule for the Choir Boys. Are you going to go to LA with them?
Yes. Yeah. We'll be at the Whiskey, and we just played our first show at the Whiskey in December, right? So we played opening for the Bullet Boys. Whole story that the Midnight Devils are such a weird band where if something's going to go wrong, everything's going to go wrong, right? It's just I almost don't even get surprised anymore by when the shit storm happens. Like it's like, okay, I figured something was coming, this is it. So the day we drove all the way from Omaha to LA, right? One day, boom, shot right over there. The day we wake up for the show, the bass player of the Bullet Boys nowhere to be found, and they're thinking about canceling the show and all of this. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, man, we just drove all the way here. We landed our dream gig, and luckily Mark Torian, just what a stand-up dude. I can't say enough good things about him. He did a solo acoustic show and kind of saved our asses, saved the night, and made it so that we could actually have that California experience.
I remember hearing that in the news. Hearing that in the news, then he quit the next day or something, didn't he?
Yeah, the whole band quit the next day. Yeah.
I think in 1989, Mark Torian was my favorite singer ever.
Absolutely.
It was just like, and Mick Sweeta was that whole first Bullet Boys album fucking is so,
Ted Templeman.
Oh yeah, right. It's just so underrated. I don't get it. You know, it's like there was so like all this good music out there, but then we made Winger go up the charts. What the fuck? You know,
did you see any of the original Bullet Boys performances this year?
I did because Mick Sweeta is from down. I live in Buffalo, New York, and he's not that far from here where he grew up. So he made sure he came through. I seen that them playing a club here in Buffalo, New York, and I was blown away.
That's what we were standing on the side of the stage. We were at the M3 festival with Chip. Right. Yeah. And like, original Bullet Boys coming out. And we're like, yeah, we'd seen the Bullet Boys before, but never the original. So I wasn't really expecting that much. And they come out, man, the original lineup, Mark's out there doing his thing with no guitar, and I was like, this band is fucking great. They blew every band out of the water.
They're great.
They blew off every band on the M3 festival.
I don't know, like Mark Torian was, nobody else had a voice like him. Okay.
No.
And like some of one of my other favorite singers from that time period has always been Stephen Pearcy too, from Rat. Nobody else had a voice like that, but he's not so good anymore. But Torian still is pretty damn good.
He had it. Yeah.
I
was blown away. I'd never seen the acoustic show. And I'm telling you, like, goosebumps running down my spine. Like, there's chicks in the audience. We're on the Sunset Strip. We're in LA, you know, and we know that, like, we're going to go to the Rainbow afterwards. It was the whole rock and roll LA experience. And we were there for 3 days, and people knew who we were. I'm like, this is it. We're living the dream right now. This is cool. And
that's real cool, man.
So we get to come back. That's the cool thing, is we're coming back in May, and then we're coming back in September, opening for Pretty Boy Floyd at the Whiskey. So it's like, kind of living that dream, you know, playing the most famous venue in the United States.
Yeah, so you guys,
absolutely,
you're going back to the Whiskey.
Yeah, 2 times. We're scheduled 2 times this year.
And you guys just recently played there, didn't you?
Yeah, in December. Yep. Yeah. So we did good. I think it was good. We got invited back, you know.
There's so many bands that made it that played at the Whiskey.
Yeah,
it's just like back in the old like 60s and 70s, you had to play there to make it. You know, like you really and in the early 80s on Sunset Strip.
Played Whiskey A Go Go, and playing, and Bob Dylan.
Well, they had the other ones.
Or anybody.
Troubadour.
Doors.
The Doors played there. So did a lot of other people. Like Motley Crue was discovered at the Whiskey, you know, and a couple other people were. It was just so famous. Gazzari's was another one in the 80s. That's
huge. Where the Kickstart My Heart video was recorded.
Yes, it was. It definitely was.
Guns N' Roses started out there too.
Yep.
Yeah, they did there, and they also did the Ritz, I think it was.
You can feel it. Like as a musician, you can feel that sonic vibration or whatever it is. As soon as you walk in there, step on that stage, like you're like, it's different, you know, it changes. And you're like, this history, this piece of rock and roll, whatever it is, you can feel it. It's hanging in the air. And especially like when you go up in the dressing room, and I was just blown away. We played shows all over the country in places we never had dressing rooms. They're like, oh yeah, you guys got a dressing room right here, and the names on the door, you know, and everybody's smoking joints in the dressing room. And who's the booking agent? His name's Jake, and he's like a younger guy. He just loves fucking rock and roll. Yeah, and so we're all just standing in the Whiskey, just talking, like in the office. And you hear that story, like if you read the Motley Crue book or the Stephen Pearcy book, where they did the same thing. They walked up the stairs, hung out in the office, and like, this is really cool. We're getting baked in the Whiskey, you know.
Yeah, in the Whiskey. Yeah, you name it, man. Sublime, Chili Peppers, all of them, everybody. Yeah. So yeah.
No, the Whiskey is iconic.
You're sitting in your chair and you're looking in the mirror doing your makeup, and all of a sudden you feel a hand on your shoulder, and you look up in the mirror, and it's Jim Morrison standing over you, going, "You'll rock it out, man."
I was just on cloud 9. Like I couldn't have been happier. That was really a defining moment for us.
And it doesn't even matter how many people showed up. You still did. You know, it doesn't matter. It's
we
something
had a good show. After all the shit that went down with the Bullet Boys, like we still had a good show. There were still people there. Like it was awesome. Yeah, girls in the audience.
It's just so amazing that they quit like that.
I couldn't believe it. I was just dumbfounded because we had met him at M3 and we talked to him, and like we were like became friends, and I was really into it, and then it all went downhill.
Yeah. Oh, that's the demise of a band. The band will happen real quick, and you won't know. You know, all of a sudden, bam, it's over. Yep. You know, it's over. Well, what are we gonna do? You know. So
I've never understood that. Okay, so you got guys at that caliber of level. Why I don't understand why you wouldn't just do the show. If everything, you know, you got a line of people around the block, you got your name on a marquee. What's stopping you from just doing the show? That I guess I don't understand.
People paid for those tickets to see that show. You know, people. It's not cheap to get into the Whiskey A Go Go. I'll tell you that right now. It ain't cheap.
No.
So do the bands there that get in the Whiskey A Go Go? Do they like? Is it like Nashville is, where most of them have to pay?
There's Guido.
Well,
Sorry
yeah.
about that, Sam.
All right, we're gonna.
That was my granddaughter unplugged my fucking modem, man.
Ah,
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
And it
no.
took me
That's something my
that long
cat would
to
do.
connect back to the internet.
Okay, so
that should be your birth control.
Yeah, it's not my kid, it's my daughter's kid.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
all right, well, we're back on now. We're recording again.
Yes.
So,
Yes. So this week's episode will be a two-parter.
Yes, part 1 and part 2,
Yeah.
but that's okay. That's okay. So tell me something, Sam. What was the worst gig you ever did, man?
we've done a ton of interesting. I wouldn't say bad gigs, but we've done. So when the band started out, we decided, like, we started out as a cover band. We were playing covers and slipping our own originals in, and we got when Jimmy joined, he said, we really got to take this opportunity and take this chance to try and make something. The cover band will get us far and we'll get paid, but I don't know if we're going to get to the place that we want to go. So we need to start doing like circles outside of Omaha. Like we're doing 100 miles, 200 miles, 300 miles, 400 miles. We played this one show, and a lot of them ended up being like punk rock shows. Like we're playing basements, we're playing house shows. We're doing these tours all over, coast to coast in a bus with no AC, with no heat, playing these shows to nobody in basements of churches. And we played this one show, and this wasn't too far away from us. It was kind of right outside of Topeka, and it was on this compound, and I'd never seen anything like it. I thought it was a big deal. They had Saliva come in and play, So I'm like, okay, this seems like a legit venue. We roll up in our bus, and the owner's like waiting for us outside of this compound. He's got his hand up. He's, oh yeah, drinking, and he goes, I need to get you guys paid. And I was like, okay, cool. And he goes and he digs up like a hole in his barn, like where he keeps the safe, like the money's in the safe underneath the ground. And he pulls out the stack of cash and hands it to us. I'm like, all right, well, cool. We already got paid. And so we set up the show and we're playing, and there's nobody there. There are 10, 15 people there. And the next thing I know, we're playing our last song, and the owner's screaming. He's like, take cover, take cover. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? And the next thing I know is gunshots are going off. There's like a shootout at the OK Corral, right? The owner's shooting at some guy shooting at the owner. We're on stage, and we end the song, and we have to go and hide behind our bus, which is parked right next to the stage, because they're having a shootout during the final song of our show. And that was one of the ones where I was like, this is real.
That should have been on video. You should have got that on video. That would have been great.
I don't think they were worried about that at that moment.
Kansas started out like that. They did that, and they advertised free beer for everybody. Come to the concert, free beer, free beer. And fucking thousands of people showed up to get the free beer, and that's how they got started.
That's how the Bare Naked Ladies got their name. How they got going, because when they were posting up their flyers out back in wherever they were coming from, nobody was
Right.
shows, so they posted on there, Bare Naked Ladies tonight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
guess
how
what?
they
They got me because I live in Buffalo, New York, which is right, by the border. So they play here a lot. And me and my friends were like, we were talking, oh, the Bare Naked Lady, we got to go see this shit, And no, it was fake. It wasn't, some Bare Naked Ladies, but they got us, so it worked. And then I went out and bought their CD because they were cool, and I appreciate different music, and I also appreciate good. I like to see bands before I hear them on a record or something, because it makes a big difference. It really does. I mean, sometimes people are better live. Like to me, like when I go see like like Zakk Wylde, whenever I see him in any band he's in, Ozzy, whatever, he's so much better live than he is. And it just makes it better. I think you should go see a band live.
I mean, when you hear Slash on his albums and stuff, it seems like Slash is more controlled on an album than he is on stage. And when he gets up on the stage, when I saw Slash, KC birthday party, the second to last one before the COVID.
Yeah.
And we went to see, and then Slash got up on stage. We had really good seats. I mean, we were right there. And he came out there and just ripped it up. I mean, he was fucking good. He does a great live show. But when he's in the studio, I think he's more restrained.
Yeah.
Do you think that
Well,
your voice
you're not in the
is
moment.
you
You're
are
not
on
in the
stage?
moment anymore.
Yeah, my voice it's a lot different, and so we really concentrated on pushing my voice to make it sound like, because when you're on stage you got the rush of the crowd, you got the you know, the makeup, the build up, you've been driving all fucking day, so like when you finally get to unleash on stage, you're primed and ready to roll, and I just hammer it home. I was screaming for, you know, an hour straight. So how do you take all that emotion, that drive, that energy, and put it into the studio where there's no crowd?
Yeah.
It's almost impossible. So I was just like, Jimmy and I really worked on it. Like, how do I get my voice to sound like it does on stage in the studio? That screaming, that gravel, whatever it is, they're just like, keep going, keep pushing it, and to get it to sound like it sounds like Tammy Down's voice or Spike from the Choir Boys. How do you get that sound? That's our sound, but it's hard to duplicate in the studio. On a live stage, it's easy. I don't even think about it. I do it. But in the studio, really got to concentrate.
Yeah. And plus, you know, in the studio, if you're listening, you got music in your ear a little bit.
Yeah.
But you don't got the marshals blowing
Exactly.
at you and, you know, and pushing you to do that. You know, it's like
9 times out of 10, you'll know this as a singer, like your monitors don't work, you can't hear shit, so you're just like going by feel and by emotion.
Yep.
Whereas in the studio, it's like all right there in your head.
And if you're good enough, I mean, if you're good at your craft, you'll get through that no monitor. You know,
It doesn't bother me. We're so used to it.
Right.
You got the music going in your ears, but then you can't hear yourself. I always wondered about that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't hear yourself sing, so you don't know what you're putting out because you got the headphones with the music
yeah,
going.
but if you hear yourself, you're not going to let it go. You know
exactly.
what I mean? You're just going to. Oh, that didn't sound too good. Let me reframe. I think you need to not hear it to make it better.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
He goes, turn your vocals down so that when you're in your monitor, your headset, you can't hear yourself. So you're going to project and sing even louder.
Right.
And get that gravelly, that real distorted vocal sound.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I see.
A little trick.
The way, like I know some people do it. Like Sammy Hagar actually does most of his stuff just live. They're just like sings the whole entire song without stopping, and then they, you know, find the pieces, you know, where we go. But not a lot of people can do that. They don't have the voice to do that. Well, you know what I hate is studio magic. When you do hear a band, and, oh, that guy's a good singer, and then you go see him, and you're like, did they get a new singer or something?
Yeah.
The fuck happened? You know, it's like sometimes the studio is too good, you know. But I don't find that too often unless you're listening to some kind of pop music. In the rock.
Do you do it more than once? Oh, and then maybe they'll put 2 or 3 or 4 together and make it one? Or
yeah, what we'll do is we'd run through a whole song. It's kind of like saying you'd run through a whole song and then you listen back and figure out, okay, that was cool, that was not cool. Let's punch it here, fix this. Push your voice harder on this part. You kind of let up here. Just figure out where the bumps in the road are and just smooth them over.
Right.
Yeah, that's how we
do that on
the Hilltown Saint stuff. That's how we did it. You know?
Yeah,
we would do a verse, take a break, do another one. You know, just in a basement.
or you could do it like Jim Morrison used to do and get blown while you're singing. You know, and then you're more relaxed, you know, and
a little more relaxed.
Yeah.
It works. Your last album, Something Bigger.
Yeah.
Something Bigger. Now we went ahead and posted. We've got we put Pink Halo, Midnight Devils, and 2 Miles Down into our rotation. We put 3 into our rotation. Is there another song on there in particular that you really like that you'd like us to put into our rotation?
My favorite and one of the crowd favorites is Memphis Mild. That's really one that kind of just is a good mix of all of our influences. It's got that boogie woogie, that rock and roll, that kind of Elvis Presley vibe mixed with Faster Pussycat and the Ramones and everything. I think it really captures the sound of what Devils.
I'll make sure I want to make sure I put that in there because I wasn't sure which songs that you prefer to go on the air. And so we went ahead and I've got 3 of them in there. I'll put the 4th one in there tonight after we do our show.
Thank you.
No, hey, no problem, man. We're glad to do it. It's all You know, it's
I
all
got a
part.
question for you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of not musical, but you're in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Has the weed gotten any better out there? I mean, the homegrown.
The weed is great. They don't really grow it here anymore, and it's not legal yet. So a lot of it comes in from since Colorado's right next door to us. A lot of it comes in from Colorado or California.
Well, no, I'm talking about the wild weed that grows there.
Oh,
You
no,
know.
it ain't better. It ain't gonna get no better.
That's asparagus.
In my hometown, I had a job where we were like, I worked for the city, and we were like the guys that would weed whack the ditches in the city, right? And so you go around and you go to the dump, and there's just fields of wild weed growing. I'm like, what is this? I've never seen anything like it before.
Right. It's all over there. It's all over.
Everywhere.
He knows his weed.
Used to be a rope manufacturer there in Middle Nebraska, and there was a couple of them. It was a part of the state's revenue was hemp rope.
Yeah,
they made a lot of rope and fabric and stuff like that. And I'm surprised it hasn't made really a comeback. I mean,
it's a big deal now. I know somebody out at the club that at the strip club who they invested in a field right by my hometown of a hemp field.
Yeah.
And they're kind of getting a jump on weed legalization. Then there's all these laws and restrictions, but that's what they do is they go out and they'll harvest the hemp and sell it and make money that way.
Yeah. That's cool. Do you know which state?
They used to grow 15 feet tall, man. I mean, these plants were in patches all over the freeway. You could just see them.
I'd be happy.
I just wondering if they.
Do you know which state has
better.
the least amount of laws about marijuana?
I don't.
New York. Can you believe it? New York State? Yeah, you can have up to 3 ounces on your possession. You can have 24 grams of liquid.
Wow.
You can have up to 3 ounces on your possession, 24 grams of liquid. I can't remember it all, but it's like totally 100% legal. Now, you're not allowed to sell it, but you can give it as a gift. So a lot of stores are selling like knickknacks and giving you the weed for free.
Oh.
You know, I mean, you're paying $75 for the knickknack.
Kind of like buying one of those big chocolate balls with the toy in the middle of it.
Yeah. But see, our governor was going up for sexual harassment charges, so he decided to make marijuana 100% legal. You know, to be a nice guy, and that was great. Now we're looking dispensaries coming this year. Me and my brother and sister are actually looking into opening up a edibles store. You know, having because it's cheaper to do it that way. If you do the pot shop, you have to have $1 million up front paid in taxes. So
did you see
happening.
that Sam that Topher just joined from Diamond Music Hall?
Yeah.
Joined ranks, but I'm not real familiar with it. You might know a little bit more about
and that's something I wanted to get into. We haven't yet, but I've been thinking like who would be interested in endorsing the Midnight Devils or being a part of this, because that really something that I truly believe in and believe helps guys and girls, helps anybody that kind of has this anxiety. And I didn't know, I wasn't aware, like, so I'm kind of late to the ball game, but I was having trouble sleeping like anybody else. I was having this anxiety about the tours, and my mind wouldn't shut off, like, what, the band's gonna break down, I got all these, we got to be out on the road for a month. And I found that we stopped in Denver, and the weed kind of helped in a positive way.
Sure.
For me to be able to sleep and be able to not have so much anxiety. And I know that Jimmy,
especially even after a show.
Yeah. And so it's a cool thing that I would love to be able to be a part of in Nebraska. It's so hard because it's not legal.
Sure. Yeah, it is. And the thing about it is I never.
Not even medical?
Right.
Not even medical?
No, some states aren't. I never thought in 100 million years that I would live in a state that it was legal. I never really did, because we're the most democratic state in the country, and it's like, but we did it.
It's the Republicans that are blocking it. Nebraska being right next door to Colorado, they're losing a lot of revenue to Colorado.
Tons.
Yeah. Because people even open up other things like what's you open up a dispensary, a restaurant across the street or next door makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So
Donut.
now you create more business. It's corner store for the munchies right by it. I mean, you have the potential to make more money. You do, and it's stupid to have something illegal that's less harmful than the Xanax that they prescribe to you or the Lortab.
alcohol.
Or alcohol for that matter. Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
The worst that's going to happen
there's
is a
some
box
strange-
of Twinkies are going to get devoured.
That's
and a
it.
cheeseburger.
In my case, it's
Strange
Klondike
way
bars.
of
In my
thinking,
case,
Oh, you
Not
like a
drugs
Klondike
and
bar?
shit.
What would you
Oh,
do for a
yeah.
Klondike bar?
I would smoke a whole bag of weed.
I mean,
Yeah,
Smoke a shitload of weed for a Klondike.
but I've been smoking since 1988, and the only time I stopped was when I first went in the military because I had to. But once I got in there, I'm like, a bunch of fucking stoners in here, man. What the hell, and realized that I didn't need to stop anymore. So I haven't stopped since,
I got to tell you, man, I've got about a 20-year fucking head start on your happy ass.
I bet you do.
I started smoking back in 1973, so.
Oh yeah, you
yeah.
definitely got it because
That was my first time, 73. When was yours there, Niescab? You're the oldest one here.
this was in like 38 or something, wasn't it?
the first time I got
he was in the movie Reefer Madness, man. That's how old he is.
67. I don't know, man.
67.
Oh my God!
I was 13. Mine was 81, and I ain't stopped since.
67.
Slowed down quite a bit the older I get.
We're coming up on your what? We'll be coming up on your 60th anniversary.
No, this dude over here.
I got stoned when I was like 12. So
I got
66.
You're 60.
Yeah.
Wow, 66. You old fuck.
Yeah.
So
You're like Joe Biden.
Wow.
Anyway, you got some. You're talking about. You guys are going to be going out in Europe soon too, aren't you?
Yeah. So that is the plan, and we're going over what's enough's enough. They invited us to go with them. It was a really cool thing. Chip called and he's like, you know what? Well, no, it wasn't even Chip. It was our booking agent, and we've been working with Chuck at Artists Worldwide, which is kind of the Pretty Boy Floyd. I think Christy Majors owns it, but they book all these bands, and we've made like another gamble. We're just like, let's try and go for the agent that's bigger than the one that we deserve, right? Let's see if we can make it as the big with the big boys. Let's not go with, because we know all these bands that have joined these small agencies and they do good, but they put them on these small tours, and that's great. But I want bigger. I want more. So we get this call from Chuck. He's like, how do you guys feel about going to Europe with Enough's Enough? I'm like, we're there. He's like, cool. Get all your stuff, all the documents. I'll take care of the rest. And Chip calls and he's like, you know what? We get along so well. I don't want to go out on the road with a bunch of guys that I don't know that are going to, be dicks or whatever. Let's go to Europe. You're going to love it. The chicks are great. They're just going to eat your band up. And so we're like, yes. Another one of those where like, I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't know how it's even possible, but the opportunity's there. So let's take that opportunity and see if we can make it happen.
Oh, yeah, make it happen any way possible.
You guys take your own guitars and drums and amps and all that. You take with you?
All you take is your guitars, and we rent backline, and we rent a van and a trailer and a driver. So you kind of just show up, and this guy drives you around the country, around Europe.
Yeah, and the fans in Europe are more like into this kind of music than the fans here. Yeah, so
that's the goal. As a kid, you're like, the reason that you kind of get into a band is to get you out of your shitty city to see the world. Well, we got that kind of like little glimpse of light. Okay, we can get out of the United States by playing rock and roll music. This is brilliant. Let's go. And whatever it costs, it doesn't matter, because you're not going to get this opportunity ever again. Thousands of bands want this opportunity. We see the little light. Let's take it and do everything we can possibly do to make it.
This will be the first time for the Midnight Devils being overseas, right?
Yeah, outside of the country. Yep.
And that's
not only that,
summer.
It's in November.
November.
Yeah,
November.
You also, you know, you got yourself a nice vacation too, like you said, out of the deal, you know, or see something else besides the United States. And you know what? A lot of the glam rock was originated in England and the UK, you know, with the early 70s stuff. But you know what? I'm linking you more to the late 80s sleaze rock more than the glam rock. Like the LA Guns and you know, the Faster Pussycat and that kind of music. Is that more like you like, or do you like more?
It is a little. It's kind of a steal from. We're mixing it all together. So like I love Sweet, I love Slade, I love Alice Cooper, but I also love Faster Pussycat and LA Guns. But also there's that like next wave that our drummers into, which is like that bubblegum pop, the Peppermint Creeps, Bang Bang Babies, the Zeros, all these cool bands. So what we're doing is like, let's mix it all together and make something new that nobody's really seen.
And what I've noticed too, you know, is there's a little hints of it, several things. You know, there's punk, there's a little bit of rockabilly going on in there. Some of it, a little bit, you know.
Yeah,
like it comes up that vibe. The shows are unbelievably energetic, man.
So we just say like, we're not a hair metal band. That pure and simple. We're not a hair metal band. Like that term doesn't necessarily apply to us. Now to like the guys that you meet at the bar, they're like, yeah, you're in a band. You're like, yeah, we sound like Motley Crue. But in reality, it's not like that. Like we're a glam rock band. We're a party rock and roll band. There's no difference.
Sure.
But we're just we don't compare ourselves to Whitesnake or Def Leppard as much as we would to say Alice Cooper or Sweet or Slade or the New York Dolls. Even that's really where it's at.
The New York Dolls. Oh man, I love the New York Dolls, man.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of
people rocking, man.
Yeah, even Kiss was influenced by the Dolls.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was. You know, they and then I thought it was such an awesome thing. Yeah, I thought it was so awesome that he became fucking Buster Poindexter, man. That to me, that was awesome. You know, that was like cool move, dude. You know,
because you see a lot of guys that a lot of 80s tribute guys or guys that walk around with leather pants and leather jackets and you know their hair up and you're like, that's cool. I'm not there. Like I'm taking it farther than that. Like I'm wearing you know, women's clothing and glitter and lipstick and we're gonna push it past that safety zone. That's the safety zone. We're going way past it. We're gonna blow by it into some other new realm or some other new direction.
There you go.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Just for the sake of the argument with my dad, because I showed him the video of the Pink Halo.
Yeah.
And he was like, so what are they promoting? And I'm like, well, I don't think it's exactly what you're thinking, because you know where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
In that video, with the glitter.
Yeah.
And he was like, so are they promoting drugs? And I'm like, hell no, they're not. Not that I'm assuming not.
No.
You guys weren't sniffing glitter.
Yeah, and that was the funny part. The whole band, the whole rock and roll genre is about having fun. To me, it's about having fun and about being creative and expressing ourselves. So we thought, much like if you go back and watch early Foo Fighters videos, how it looked like they were having so much fun. Everything was funny. Nothing's really taken seriously because we play party rock and roll. So the glitter was just like, my parents even said it too. They're like, you guys are snorting cocaine in the video. I'm like, no, it's glitter. Like, it's a whole joke. It's just it's a joke. Like, this girl's getting high on glitter. That's what the funny thing is.
Behind Pink Halo in connection to that video?
Yeah.
And what is the connection? I mean, like the story behind Pink Halo.
Pink Halo was just about. It wasn't about one girl in particular. It was about a couple of girls that I dated. It's kind of the inspiration behind the lyrics, and I think with the Midnight Devils, that's the cool thing, is we write a lot of songs about the insane stuff that we go through. And I think that's what made like Guns N' Roses so cool, is that they wrote about the lyrics were really easy to latch onto. Pink Halo was, I just kind of had that idea of a girl wearing a pink halo, and I go, oh, that's cool. And she's like, she's good and she's bad and she's wild and whatever. She came to party. And so the video, we were like, what can we do that's really going to capture the essence of what the Midnight Devils is? Glitter. Okay, cool. And then we made like kilos of glitter cocaine. Like I have one sitting back here like a prop. And it's awesome. It's got the Midnight Devils logo on it. And then we're like, okay, we could have her buying, like she's at a drug deal, but she's buying glitter. It's the drug, right? So it was just kind of a play on that. And the director loved it. He ran with it. And I was like, this turned out really good. And it's funny. And it's for people that see it and go, are they doing drugs? I go, they don't quite understand the concept of what the Midnight Devils are about. It's about having fun.
No, the glitter and the glow of the band and the party of the band is a part of the high. It's not the high; it's a part of the high.
Right.
And you know,
well, not only that, but
what?
What?
Oh, I said not only that, bad publicity, or not bad publicity, but misunderstanding things makes more people look at you. You know, like so
it's more intrigue.
As long as you know what it is, it don't matter.
It's like when your chick is bi-curious. You know, she's bi-curious. Okay, all right. Do I have to worry? No, she's just curious. You know, she wants to know what it's all about. It's the same thing with the band, where people are saying, wow, man, these guys really rock it. Let's go to their show and see if they really do it right. Yeah. And they go to the show. So I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Diamond this spring. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm definitely going to make that show. That's going to be – and the Choir Boys just fucking rock, man.
Incredible band,
Great band.
I'll be at that show, Sam. I already got my tickets.
Perfect. And that's really like I get excited because I feel like we are stepping out into uncharted territory with the image and the look of this band, because it's like we're throwing everything away, like sexuality, you know, like we don't care. It's all about not what color you are, what if you're gay or straight, like I don't care. As long as you came to shake your ass and have fun, this is what the Midnight Devils are about. It's not about being so serious and anything like that. But when you can, exactly like you said, when we can make people question anything that they hold on to, you know, with the way we look, like, are these guys girls? Are they boys? I don't know what's going on. That's what I'm into. That's what I like. And
well, that's what my parents.
That's a cool thing.
My mom. I was talking to my mom about that. She's, I just don't understand why they have to dress like that.
Yeah.
And I said, Mom, it's part of the show, you know.
Yeah. Well, David Bowie. They didn't recognize David until he did Devil or Devil. Where he
Rebel.
If you're a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
Rebel.
Yeah. Hey,
I got Devil on the
Prince
brain.
Made a whole career.
But that just started his career from there.
Right. Prince made a whole career off of being controversial and questioning. I mean, it's you know,
it's not just the thing like it'd be right in your face. You know, it's better to you know, like what's under her skirt. You know what I mean? It's like you know. It's like, God damn it, you gotta look up every girl's
leave it hidden.
It's
to your imagination. What it's all.
And then
imagination. That's the word I was looking for.
No bands have the balls to come out. I mean, I haven't seen very few bands in the United States that have the balls to come out on stage wearing a dress, wearing lipstick, wearing a tutu, just playing rock music. Like that's where it started. But anymore, nobody has the balls to do it. They all dress the same, look the same.
The 80s, you know. It's kind of cool, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, but thing, in the 90s, we kind of
it started before the 80s. I think you know
show. Thank God Marilyn Manson came out. I think he kind of was the one that kind of brought it, the show factor of it, the visual. I think he brought it
Are we
back.
turning around and repeating decades again? Are we repeating?
Yeah. Well, because music gets boring and music is music. It's always, you know, based off. You can never say a whole song is different because there's always going to be a piece of somebody else's song in there. You know, like it just happens. But it recycles itself back every couple 20, 30 years. Because think about it, the people that I was raised, my parents met at a Led Zeppelin concert. Okay. So when I was growing up, I listened to Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and, you know, Aerosmith and all this good shit. And then I came to the 80s and they found that. Then my kids, I taught that to them. So they are the next generation that learned it. But they do their own music too. So it just recycles, though. It just recycles, I think, every out of nostalgia too, because people that are older don't want to hear this new crap. They'd rather hear a band that sounds a little, nothing like, I'm not going to go on that one band that sounds just like Led Zeppelin, Greta Van Fleet. I don't like that.
No.
Okay.
Greta Van Fleet.
At all.
I like it for one reason, that it's young kids that, instead of going into the direction of rap and hip hop, they're for that generation, they're keeping that type of music alive.
Well, I'll give them respect for that, and
a little bit.
Their
But
talent.
Kingdom Come, I mean, there's been even David Coverdale doing his thing with Jimmy Page. I mean, there's so many mocks of that Zeppelin.
Bono.
So I mean, the fact that they're kids doing it and
Yeah.
keeping that part of that style of music alive,
Sure.
I appreciate it, and I give them props,
And they're
But I
good
get how
musicians.
you can go in that direction to where you're like, yeah, they're a rip-off. But no, they're not. In a way, they're not. They're just.
Well, like now, if you listen to people like Lenny Kravitz, you'll get that 70s vibe every time you listen to Lenny Kravitz. He didn't steal anything from anybody. He just took the vibe from it and made it his own. That's so different than just let me sound like, I want to sound just like Motley Crue, and then sounded just like Motley.
Sounded like to me. I think he sounded a lot like Lennon, and I think a lot of his music was like copied like from John Lennon. It was kind of his
Kravitz.
Yeah, Kravitz.
It could
some
be.
of those harmonies he did.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, but if now I've said this in another discussion, if you take any band that started after the Beatles, any band, you will find Beatles in their music somehow. Doesn't matter who they are. You will find something
Somehow.
because they wrote so much.
Yeah, enough's
and
enough.
did so.
I mean,
Yep. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
And
They're
that
big
was,
in the
enough's
Beatles.
enough.
that was the cool thing about doing this album with Chip, is that being in Chicago, being at Chip's house, we got that Chicago power pop sound on the Midnight Devils record. He produced it. And the next thing I listened to it, I go, we sound like we have a touch of Enough's Enough in there. Chip played on it, he sang, and then we sound like the Beatles in turn, because they were so influenced. Enough's Enough was so influenced by the Beatles. He put these harmonies in. I'm just like, Chip is a genius. Like, he made it sound so cool. But we got that distinctive REO Speedwagon, those bands, Cheap Trick. Cheap Trick, it just sounds huge. And I'm just like, man, this is really cool to be kind of considered a part of this Chicago power pop sound.
Yeah, that is cool. And and it's hard not to play like the people that influenced you. It's almost impossible, because that's why you got into this in the first place, and I mean, I would find it really hard not to be if I play guitar, to play something like Ace Frehley, just like a little bit, just like him, but that would be my signature thing. I don't know. I would think you were, I don't know, selfish to the past if you didn't put something like that. And even if you look at like Led Zeppelin, everybody, Led Zeppelin really just gave homage to the older blues guys from the decades before them. I mean, they were great, but everybody influenced everybody. There's nobody. Maybe the Beatles were the first original band. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they were inspired by guys. They were inspired by the Hollies. They were inspired.
Yeah.
The original Moody Blues, which were back in the 70s. Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac actually did albums in 62 and 63.
Yeah,
they were influenced by a lot of bands.
Skiffle bands they liked and all that other stuff. I mean, that's the one thing I think that the Beatles did make the difference, is they all four members had different musical knowledge, that they brought to the table.
They turned that black beat and that bluesy beat into rock and roll is what they did.
Well, that was actually Little Richard, Elvis Presley.
Well, yeah, Little Richard. There's another one they admired.
But the Beatles were actually influenced by those guys a lot. Everybody, Elvis Presley's my second favorite person ever.
Me too.
And
oh shit!
I used to have Elvis Presley concerts in my room as a kid.
I got his tattoo there somewhere. But the thing of it is,
Poison came out, and I got caught with my makeup on my face by my mom.
You get tickets? Send me a pair, because I'm right here in LA.
But Elvis didn't create rock and roll. A lot of people think Elvis did. I give more credit to Little Richard and Chuck Berry than I would to Elvis. Elvis created the rock star. Okay, he did, and he created that persona of I can do no wrong in the beginning. He couldn't do wrong.
He was the first David Lee Roth.
Yeah. And then you look at like guitar sound. The first guitar solo that most people can say is friggin' Bill Haley in the Comets, "Rock Around the Clock," dude. That is like when the first real
iconic
rock guitar sound. So now that follows.
You know where
I want a couple of tickets.
You know where Elvis got his shimmy, don't you?
Where he got what?
He got it from Forrest Gump.
Yeah, that's right.
Got it, Forrest Gump taught him the shimmy, dude. Do that thing you do, man. Yeah.
Well, I just say, like Jim Morrison was definitely influenced by Elvis by the way he didn't give a shit about anything, and that they influenced people like Axl Rose, who didn't give a shit about anything, and it just keeps going on. Everybody pays respect to the last, and you should. I mean, but I don't think you can't. I don't think you could stop it if you wanted to. I don't think you could.
It's ingrained in you.
Right, and that's cool.
So you got this. What's this festival you got coming up too? Did we talk about that yet?
No, Rockfest. Yeah, that's in Cadott, Wisconsin. It was really, I'd been gunning for this festival. It's huge, like Disturbed plays, they bring in, but we've done Rocklahoma before, and we know kind of what to expect out of these festivals, but they are worth like the time and effort and the amount of people packed into one spot that you get to see, or you get to influence at one time. It's just like a shotgun blast of people. So Rockfest is something I've been gunning for 3 or 4 years, and I just been like hounding the booker, like, hey, we need the Midnight Devils on. Hey, we need the Midnight Devils on. And finally they said yes. They gave us the spot that we wanted and everything. And I was like, oh man, this is great. And then they released the lineup, and it's like, we're the only glam metal band on the thing, which is pretty normal. But we go out there in full makeup, full leather, everything, and you just walk around and people love it. And you can't walk anywhere without people taking pictures, I
like your interaction with the crowd. You make people part of the show.
Yeah.
So when I noticed you guys the first time I saw you back in January, how you actually come out into the audience and make everybody part of the show, So that's a selling point right there too.
It like breaks down the barrier. It's a cross between what Paul Stanley does and very like our punk rock roots, where we're no different than the people in the audience. They're here for the same reason that we're here, and I'm just as excited as they are. So we're gonna break down that wall. I'm gonna step off the stage, but I'm not gonna do it in any way that's gonna shine more light on me or make me seem.
No,
I want it to be a big party. Yeah. Like we're bringing the party down to the audience, and I've done it, and I've done it at every show that we've had, even with like Yngwie and stuff like that. And it works, and I'd never think it's gonna work, and it does every time.
That's something I wanted to bring up. You got to play a show with Yngwie.
Yeah.
When was that?
We've done 3 of them now. We did 2 in Florida and then 1 in Detroit.
How is that working with him?
Terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, he's bad guy.
It was absolute. Like I say, I don't know if it's true or not, but I think that Yngwie is like, they put the bands that are there, they want them to prove themselves. The agency puts the bands that they're like, okay, these guys are making some waves. Let's see if they can handle hanging out with Yngwie for a couple days, right? Because it's that hard, and that morally, the morale of the band is so difficult because he is such a difficult artist to work with. So they shut the doors, and they don't let you sound check, and you got to get dressed in the van, and it's just like a whole bunch of nonsense. For Yngwie, just for himself.
He needs some room for his necks.
Right. And it's just kind of crazy, but he puts asses in the seats and he sells tickets. And so we know going in, okay, we're going to have a good show, but we're going to have to go through hell and back just to play for our 45 minutes.
Now, did you have, as a personal with him, were you able to be,
say it again, did I talk to him?
Yeah, well, I mean, did he totally
very little.
You guys, very little.
Very little. So the first night we rolled in, it was Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We rolled into the club and for sound check. They're like, sound check's at 3, be there at 3. We roll in at 3, and Yngwie actually comes up and says hi to us, okay? And I'm like, that's kind of cool, and that's like a fanboy moment. And then he's like, no, everybody has to get out while I do my sound check, which it takes 4 hours. So the next thing you know, we're stuck outside in the Florida heat, 4 hours, 7 o'clock, the doors open, and he's like finally done with his sound check. So we had to get dressed before we even had any gear on stage. We had to do our makeup, do our hair. They open the doors, we play for 45 minutes, and we're off. That's it, right? But the cool thing was that we did 2 shows with them. And so the second night we got to say hi and kind of talk to him a little bit, talk to the guys in this band. And then our agent calls us up and he goes, Yngwie loved you guys. He said, finally a rock and roll band with, finally a rock and roll band opening for me. We want you guys to come play with us in Detroit. So he invited us back to play in Detroit. And whether it happened or not, I still think it's kind of a cool thing. And I can tell people about this.
How was the crowd reaction to that, being that, it's probably, being Yngwie, they're probably not expecting to see you.
They were very surprised, and I feel like it took 2 songs to get them. So 2 songs out of 5 songs that we got to play, it took them to get warmed up to us. And finally, like 2 songs in, they get it. They're on their feet. They're going crazy. They go, oh, this is a rock and roll party. I understand what these guys are all about. And it worked. It worked all 3 nights. And, playing in Detroit Rock City was such a big honor and a big privilege to be a part of that. And like Detroit brought the heat, like exactly like I was hoping they would. It was cool. Going through hell to get just to play the show. We went through absolute hell, but we did it.
That's all. And you know what? That's not a little star. He's a pretty big star.
Yeah. Grammy Award winning. 70 billion albums.
Absolutely.
But his attitude is his reputation is just as big as his star too.
Right.
Yeah.
I think his attitude is bigger than his star, actually.
Yeah.
Because he's not, that Eddie Van Halen star.
No.
I'm not talking about ability. I'm just talking about pure star.
Yeah.
He's not that, but he is a star in his own right. A friend of mine is the drummer for the Jeff Scott Soto band who used to sing for him. And right now he's on a cruise doing a show, some rock cruise with him and a couple, how they do those rock cruises
with the Monsters. Yeah, the Monsters rock cruise.
Yeah. And that's pretty cool. It's funny because here in Buffalo, he owns like a Dairy Queen. And then he gets called up by, one time he played in Journey for a few days. Other time he went and drummed in fucking this band. I'm like, that's gotta be cool, dude. Fuck, why don't you give me some of that shit?
I think Joe Bonamessa just did a monster cruise. He went out there with a couple of guys from the Velvet Underground and did a show out there. That was in Rock News. And then Joe Bonamessa is going to be here in St. Louis. I think it's this fall, early fall, September, maybe early September. And he'll be at Enterprise Center here in St. Louis.
We had one of our reporters on one of the KISS cruises. And he did some live. He interviewed their ex-bodyguard, Big John Hart, and he did
just
some
passed away.
Yes, he did. Yes, and it's pretty cool. We have it on our YouTube page, and it's pretty cool because it's like that's something that I grew up. You knew who John Hart was if you were a KISS fan. You just knew he was. How many bands do you know the fucking Bodyguard of?
Exactly.
I mean, it's pretty cool. But once you're into the KISS army, you're connected to them. It doesn't matter how little you're connected.
And that's one of my goals is like, how do we get the Midnight Devils on the cruise? That's the next goal. Okay, we can tour the country, cool. We can go overseas, cool. I want to play on the ocean though. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Guido again.
His video froze up, but he's still there.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure we can hear it.
Well, before we get
Listen,
too far,
I want a couple of tickets to your show at the Whiskey. I never get to go nowhere. If you send me a pair of tickets, I'll show up.
Yeah, you got it. Easy.
I'll give free ride
guy. He's
my
Me
address.
a package about a couple of weeks ago, man. Just out of the whim, man. And that was who does that? That was so cool, man.
Right.
Plus, I ordered some stuff. The things that I'll let you try to explain that some of your merch a little bit, Sam. That like the